Hello everyone, welcome to Desert Succulent, and for today we're going to be featuring our Sedum Japonicum. It comes in different common names such as the Tokyo Sun plant, the Tokyo Sun Sedum, or the Stonecrop Japonicum. If you are someone who is trying to add some colorful plants both for your indoor settings or for your outdoor na garden, then this gonna be a perfect succulent for you. Itong ating mga Tokyo Sun is perfect ground covers, and the most exciting part of growing this kind of succulent is the color ng kanyang mga leaves. This will be giving us this bright gold na yellow under the sun, and usually they will fade green when in the shade, and at some point if you will be continuously exposing it to the sun, you would also be rewarded by this golden orange na color. They are also considered as evergreen, and ibig sabihin all year round they will just continuously grow as long as we're gonna be providing yung kanilang mga basic na needs. Under proper care and environment, itong ating Sedum Japonicum can grow up to a maximum height of 6 to 8 inches. Like for example this one, this is approximately 1.5 inches na long, and just imagine nahahaba pa siya up to 8 inches given the right living conditions. So yung height and spread ng ating mga Sedum Japonicum would now depend on the level of care that we're gonna be giving it, or kung saan siya nag-grow. Like for example, yung inyong Sedum Japonicum is in an area na crowded or naiipit siya ng ibang mga succulents, then you would be expecting na mas mabagal yung kanyang growth, or it will not grow to its maximum na potential. Kaya as much as possible, dapat you have to give it yung enough space for it to thrive well. Aside from its tiny leaves, this will also be giving us these tiny and star-shaped petals in large quantities na flowers once na nag-bloom siya. Usually it blooms during the hottest months of the year or every summer, and this will now add more beauty nga dito sa ating colorful Tokyo Sun. As we have mentioned earlier, yung ating sunlight exposure would now play a significant impact on the color ng ating Tokyo Sun. If we're gonna be giving it good exposure to the sun, then it would now lead to a yellowish gold to orange appearance. While if ilalagay natin siya sa isang partial shade or shaded area, then it will just be giving you that kind of green look. However, if we will be putting this succulent in an indirect sunlight exposure, then it would now help the plant grow faster and even healthier. It would now depend on your personal preference kung ano nga ba yung gusto nyong ma-achieve sa inyong Tokyo Sun. If you want it to be more colorful or as colorful as this, then you have to give more sun exposure at least 6 hours a day. But if you are someone na ang priority ninyo is mabilis siyang lumaki, then you have to put it in a bright and indirect sunlight na area. We have to water our Tokyo Sun regularly but not frequently. And when we say not frequently, we have to wait na mag-completely dry na nga yung kanyang pinaka-soil before we water it once again. Itong ating mga Tokyo Sun are very prone to overwatering. Just imagine naman how tiny their leaves are. They cannot really store a great amount of water sa kanilang pinaka-leaves. Therefore, you have to be extra careful when watering this kind of succulent. This particular succulent of mine is nakalagay sa ating rain or shine area, but in any case na continuous yung pag-uulan, I make sure na ilagay siya sa isang shaded area wherein it will be covered or protected against the rain para maiwasan natin na ma-overwater siya. Kasi once na ma-start siya ma-overwater in one part, dire-diretso na yan, and it's very difficult na i-save yung ating succulent pag na-overwater na siya. Well-drained and porous soil type are ideal for our Tokyo Sun plants. You can add pumice stones for better drainage. In my case, I'm just using yung ating typical na loam soil, something that I've been using for quite some time already for my succulents. We also need to pay attention sa drainage holes ng ating mga pot. We have to make sure na hindi sila covered para ma-avoid natin na mag-accumulate yung water dito sa ating soil, which is very lethal for our plant. So if you wanted to achieve this kind of lush looking Tokyo Sun, then you have to consider fertilizing it as well. You have to make use of a low content na nitrogen, since that's gonna be very beneficial para sa ating Tokyo Sun. We are using yung ating fertilizer from Japan, since it has only 8% na nitrogen, and usually I use it half of the recommended na dosage, which would now give yung aking Tokyo Sun about 4% na nitrogen every time na dinidiligan ko siya monthly. We also need to repot them once na na-outgrow na nga nila yung kanilang container, and I have just repotted this one several weeks ago, and right now it started to grow on this side. We can just simply give this about 3 to 4 months more, and entirely it can cover nga itong ating pinakabagong pot. So itong succulent na to also don't require a lot of pruning since they have this beautiful and bushy appearance. Ganito na talaga yung kanilang itsura whether or not we will prune them to make them even bushier. But if you think there are some dead or dried na stems or leaves dyan, then you can just simply remove them and cut them away. Propagating this kind of succulent is also very simple. Pag magre-repot kayo, you can just simply remove or separate it from the roots. But if nakalagay na sila sa containers like this and you don't want to separate it from the roots, then we can do yung ating mga stem cuttings. You can simply remove some of it. Ayan, yung mga nakaseparate na yan. Ihiwalay nyo lang silang ganyan. Ayan, kasi yung iba nakalutang lang talaga literally. Or if ayaw nyo silang hilain, you can just simply use yung ating scissors to cut it. Ganyan. What you can do with this is just simply itanim nyo lang siya dyan kung saan nyo siya gustong lumaki. Ayan, ganyan lang siya. It's best if yung gagamitin ninyong soil is already moist. And since naulan na ito kanina, it's best for us to do this kind of planting. Ayan, so no need to air dry itong ating Sedum Japonicum. You can just simply plant it. Tutusok nyo lang siyang ganyan. You would be expecting na in about 3 months, itong ating mga newly planted na propagations would eventually turn to be like this. So, lalago ito in time. One of the good things about our Tokyo Sun is that they are actually not prone sa ating mga infections or diseases as long as we keep them dry. But if, for example, they are situated in a humid area, like in our location or in the Philippines, then we could be having some problems such as yung ating mga powdery mildew, yung ating rot, yung ating mga molds, ganun. Kaya we have to treat it or prevent it using yung ating mga broad spectrum na fungicides. You can make use of any fungicide that you want, but we are using yung ating Torogi Blue. They're also very safe to keep around pets and children, and therefore you don't need to worry if you are growing this kind of succulent. That's all for our Tokyo Sun. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You may also visit our Facebook page at Desert Succulent PH.